Yo, everyone, welcome back to a brand new stream here on the MaxTag HD YouTube channel. Today we are back once again with another episode of the F1 Chat. F1 Chat EP.9. Max Verstappen holds off Carlos Sainz in Canada to extend his championship lead over Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez obviously is in second, but you know. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Just lost myself today. But yeah, so we're back again. British Grand Prix this weekend. Qualifying was today. I'll go through that in a bit. But yeah, it was let's get straight into it because I don't want to dwell on things too much because I don't really want to stay on this for too long. Because if I do, then it'll take a little bit of time for me to complete it. So let's get straight into it. Let me just get the let's get this up. But yeah, so a massive race in Canada. It was. I'll put the race results up in a second. Actually, I'll put them up now. It might be easier. There we go. So there is the race results. So a massive win for Max Verstappen once again. I mean, if I'm honest, did I see anyone else winning it, really? No. I mean, obviously, there was a chance that Sainz would have won it, but I think that it was guaranteed for Verstappen to win. He obviously had the faster car, and Carlos obviously did get the fastest lap at the time, but it wasn't enough. But yeah, a massive victory for Max Verstappen, and we obviously all F1 fans would have probably expected nothing less from the world champion, the reigning champion. Big up Aaron, by the way. Aaron in the chat, big up. Hope you're well as well. I'm doing okay. How are you, buddy? And yes, please do that. It would help me out a lot on the road to obviously 1K. But yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, so Max Verstappen takes the victory, but in front of Carlos Sainz, and for the first time in a while, Lewis Hamilton gets on the podium since the first race of the season. So it was a very tough race, I know. I watched it, and it was a very tough race indeed. I didn't want it to be overly dramatic, if I'm honest, because otherwise it would have just gone all the way over, but it's fine. Yeah, it's not a big deal really, because Carlos Sainz was battling, Hamilton was battling, George Russell was battling. They were all top five were battling the most of it. So I'm not surprised with that top five. I mean, the only surprise really is Charles Leclerc, but you can't fault them really. He did his best. It was just not the right day for him really in Canada, but Yeah, so that was that. So Verstappen led from Sainz, Hamilton in third, taking the final podium. Russell and Leclerc fourth and fifth. Ocon, Bottas, Zhou, Alonso, and Stroll finished off from 6th to 10th. 11th to 15th was Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and Lando Norris, with Nicholas Latifi getting ahead of Kevin Magnussen in the final two positions, with Sergio Perez, Yuki Tsunoda, and Mick Schumacher all losing out on a chance in points after the retirement. So race time then was 1:36:21. So 1 hour 36 minutes 21 seconds, and 7/10 of a second, 7.5 tenths of a second afterwards. So fastest lap was 1:15.749. Hamilton was quite close to Verstappen in terms of where they were at the start, where the Mercedes were at the start of the season. The slowest lap time, I'm pretty sure, was that one indeed right there from Mick Schumacher, 1:18.967. That wasn't really the best option for Mick Schumacher. They all had Perez had an engine fail, so you couldn't really do much. Anyway, so yeah, it was a very close race in some parts of the field. I mean, Verstappen, being the driver he is, he just played the part of lead role, and there's not really much else to say apart from he deserved it, really. Even with the final lap challenges of Carlos Sainz, but it is what it is. You can't really fault him for much in terms of that. So there is the driver standings after the race. He's pretty much the same in some cases, with top five at least. Verstappen in first, second Perez, third Leclerc, fourth Russell, fifth Sainz, sixth Hamilton, seventh Norris, eighth Bottas, ninth Ocon, 10th Alonso, 11th Gasly, 12th Magnussen, 13th Ricciardo, 14th Vettel, 15th Tsunoda, 16th Zhou, 17th Albon, 18th Stroll, 19th Schumacher, 20th Hulkenberg, and 21st Latifi, who has just got into P10 for the British Grand Prix. But we'll talk about that in a second. The Constructors' Championship then pretty much stays the exact same, with only one, maybe two switches in there. So it's Red Bull who lead, with Ferrari in second, Mercedes in P3. P4, though, is a little bit different, as they've had a bit of a switch around, realistically. Fourth is McLaren. Fifth, though, hold on. Fifth, just get it up for you. There you go. So fourth, McLaren. Fifth, Alpine, who have switched with Alfa Romeo, who have gone down to sixth now. Seventh, AlphaTauri. Eighth, Aston Martin. Ninth, Haas. And 10th, Williams. So Red Bull leading by 304 points, as you can see. He's just running away with it, of course. 228. So Mercedes actually aren't that far behind if we look at things. I mean, they are 40 points to 60 points away, but they are getting closer indeed. But it is how it is. But Charles Leclerc did start at 19th on the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix. That was why his was a little bit of a shock to some. But it was a difficult race for most, but they got through it eventually, and they all deserved where they came, and it's just unlucky for Perez, really. But less points for Red Bull means better for Ferrari and Mercedes, really. Anyway, on to the British Grand Prix preview then. I'll keep that there, actually. Now we quickly... Hello, people. Now we quickly go over here. There you go, then. There is the race time, as everything else is finished. The race time is 3rd of July, 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock. A very interesting... a very interesting time, to say the least, for us British people over here. As for the first time, this is probably the only Grand Prix that's going to be live this season. So let's go to circuit stats. Here we are then. First Grand Prix was 1950, the first Grand Prix of the Formula One, era, really. 52 laps in total, with a circuit length of 5.891 kilometers. The race distance is 306.198 kilometers. Lap record 127.097, which was set by Max Verstappen in 2020, where he still lost, even with Hamilton not having a tyre. So let's have a look at the virtual lap. I believe it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. Yep, it is Lewis Hamilton who will take us on the guide through Silverstone. So let's see what he has to say.
Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton, and this is a lap of Silverstone. Naturally, my home Grand Prix. A couple of the coolest sections are the old Cops, which is now flat, and Max and Beckett's, which is a really high-speed section. So check it out. So coming across the start line in Silverstone, turn 1 is flat. You're just shifting up into 8th gear through here, trying to be as smooth as possible and scrub as little speed up as possible. Breaking down to turn 3. It's not so easy, but it's pretty flat in a sense. But this kind of fast chicane, so you're just trying to keep the minimum speed up. Then you're up down to the back straight, DRS open under the bridge, breaking down into Brooklands. This is a very kind of wide corner on the way in. Then it gets tighter. Then you've got the long sweeping right-hander, which takes ages to get around. Feels like it never stops. And it's an odd line. There's multiple lines through there. Then down the old pit straight, flat into Cops. Very, very hard to find the right turning point. You can't go too wide, otherwise you get a penalty in the exit. Then you're flying up to Max and Beckett's. This is flat out here, but positioning is everything to line yourself up for the exit of 13, which is here. Very, very bumpy, and everything's kind of rattling in the car. Then flat out down Hanger Straight, trying to set your position, sight set on Stowe Corner, which is incredibly fast, and it's really about having a compromise of entry, mid, and exit, breaking down to a short chicane, and then flat around the last corner.
So there you go then. So that is Lewis Hamilton's lap guide, realistically, of Silverstone, and it is probably one of the probably the best tracks on the calendar. It is one of those where it's different to others. So let's have a look at the qualifying highlights or qualifying results. So there you go. Q1. It was in the final qualifying was Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Guan Yu Zhou, Nicholas Latifi in rounding off the top 10. Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon doing until 11 to 15. And then at 16th to 20th was Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Sebastian Vettel, Mick Schumacher, and Lance Stroll. So, the fastest lap in Q1 was Max Verstappen, 1:39.1. Same in Q2, but he did a little bit slower, 1:42.655. But in Q3, it was obviously Sainz who had the fastest lap with 1:40.983. Not that far away either. That's the only thing. It wasn't that far away. And if it was anything, it was probably... hold on, there you go. Well, it was about it was like it wasn't even half a tenth, it was probably like 300ths of a second, 300ths of a second, yeah. It's probably 300ths of a second. But somewhere near 3200ths, maybe, or 32,000, should I say? Something like that. I don't know. Something near there. Quicker than Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes actually showing some pace. Hamilton went up to second in Q1 and 2. However, couldn't find the right path in Q3, unfortunately. Sergio Perez jumped ahead of Lewis Hamilton at the end of qualifying 3. That's how he got into P4. He was in P5 and then jumped ahead. Charles Leclerc just didn't have the pace, really, compared to the others at that point. 7 tenths slower than Max Verstappen at most, I think. Carlos Sainz, realistic. I mean, actually, he wasn't that far. That was in Q1. But in Q3, I mean, he wasn't that far off. He wasn't. But he was at least 2.5 tenths off, maybe. 2.5-ish tenths off. But yeah, Fernando Alonso also went very quickly. However, couldn't find the right path to victory. George Russell fell off in Q3 compared to Q1 and Q2. Nicholas Latifi in Q3 got a 2 minutes and 3 seconds. That was his only time, realistically, as he knew he wasn't really going to get past anyone at that point. But that is the qualifying. So, yeah, it is going to be a massive, massive race tomorrow. And hopefully the Mercedes can show some pace, and there could be a British driver on the podium or at least, or there could be a British driver actually winning the Grand Prix, but who knows? Anything can happen. Stranger things have happened. So yeah, Carlos Sainz is on pole position. Max Verstappen goes alongside and completes front row. On the rest of the grid, we have Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Russell, Zhou and Latifi, Pierre Gasly and Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon and Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel, Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll lines up and completes the grid. So that is the British Grand Prix, really, as we look at the race tomorrow. It is going to be a good one, but it's going to be a tough one at the same time for most drivers. I'm just going to say now it's not going to be easy. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But the next F1 chat will be next Wednesday, I think. Unless it's the Wednesday afterwards. Depends which race is actually next. I think it's Austria. Yes, it is. It's Austria on the 10th of July. So I will be there for that, I've just realised, because 9th of July is my presentation. 10th of July, I'll be at work. So, yeah, it'll be different. But next F1 chat will be next Wednesday, hopefully, if not next Thursday. I won't be able to do the season roundup streams until probably the week after next. Realistically, as I mean, you know, I've got too much stuff on my hands at the moment, so the F1 chat might actually be next this upcoming Tuesday, so next Tuesday, and then I'll try and do the Premier League roundup one in the afternoon of next Thursday, maybe. And then try and do the other, and then Friday. I might try and do the Championship one on Friday, and then do the League 1 and League 2 one after the Sunday the 10th of July. But it's going to be an interesting one, but hopefully it's a good one. But yeah, so the next F1 chat will be next Monday. Wednesday will be the Premier League season roundup. Thursday will be the Championship season roundup, and then League 1, League 2 will be Friday, hopefully. Unless I'd change them about a bit, I'll let you know. And then the first episode of Tigers Talk for next season, or this upcoming season, will be before 20th of July, so it'll be like 16th of July or so. Maybe if I'm free, and then it'll go on from there as it would. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you all for those. If I don't, then it's fine. But if I see you all for those, brilliant. If I don't, whatever. But please make sure you do hit that subscribe button and like button down below. Turn all notifications on. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. Subscribe, like, turn notifications on. Follow me on Twitter at mthdo_official and on Instagram /HDofficial. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. But that has been the F1 chat, episode 9, should I say. Max Verstappen holds off Carlos Sainz in Canada to extend his championship lead. Take care, everyone. This is the Tiger signing off. See you all next time, which most likely will be Monday. See you all later.